Nobody beats Talking Joe, an international podcast.
Brand new.
Hey, we're talking brand new Joe. Hey, we're on a brand new show. Deep dive, blow by blow. Spotting Uzis and crossbows. Like a buzzbow or pogo. Got ninjas like Don Shadow. Comics are how I spend my dough. We're coming to you in stereo. It's time for Talking Joe. With Mark and Tim, here we go.
Brand new.
Talking Joe is on the air.
Hey, it's me, Mark, and welcome to Talking Joe, the G.I. Joe Comics podcast. Now, today it's a bit of a different episode. We are looking at the latest comics news. The context for this show is that I started doing the prep for G.I. Joe issue number 9, which will be out next week. And then I just realized there is so much news happening in the world of G.I. Joe comics that I thought I should probably actually cover it separately. Otherwise, I'll be doing nothing other than talking about comic news next time, or we'll have a 3-hour episode. Now, Tim is busy doing Tim things today, which means that instead, I will not be on my own, as not always, I'll be joined by a real American, Jason, of Order of Battle podcast. How you doing, Jason?
I'm doing great. I'm going to need you to update the Order of Battle podcast music.
I think I'll still need to do an impression like you're listening in my highest, screechiest voice.
Yes, because he doesn't have that voice anymore either.
No, indeed. Now we are live. Let's see what people are saying. Shane is with us. Greetings, Shane. Yo, Talking Joe. And who else is with us? Infinite Entertainment. Hello, lads. I'd like to make a special shout out to Transformers' Worst Bot Ever, out this week from Skybound. It is an excellent all-ages graphic novel and even has a fun G.I. Joe cameo. I did not know that there was a G.I. Joe cameo in it. I will have to go and have a look at that now. Unfortunately, I feel like I'm already underprepared because this is a comic news episode and I've missed that particular piece of comic news. But hey, let's Charlie Mike. Anyway, so Jason, let's have a quick intro for you for people who maybe haven't encountered you before. Who are you and what's your connection to the world of G.I. Joe?
Well, I am half, sometimes 1/3 of the Order of
Often
Battle
all.
podcast. Lately all, but everyone's been busy. And sometimes none of us has been the case a lot of this year, but we're working on it. We're trying to get back in the swing of things. And next week, you can find all three of us, Joel, Alexander, and myself, at Kentuckiana G.I. Joe show in Shepherdsville, Kentucky, just south of Louisville.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Cool. So let's get into wrong button again. The news. So lots of news happening. Let's see, what was the first thing that I put on my slide? It was Cold Slither news. So just this week, we've had the announcement of not quite the announcement, because we had an announcement before, but more details of the Cold Slither comic. So sharing on screen is cover A. Cold Slither issue 1 is a one-shot coming in October, released October the 1st, 2025. It is from writer Tim Seeley, artist Juan Cabral, colorist Rex Locus, and letterer Pat Brousseau, who is the standard G.I. Joe letterer. The loudest G.I. Joe launch of the year. And we've had the covers shared with us, as well as 5 pages of the interior art. And it's exciting because it feels like a G.I. Joe event, this Cold Slither that we've got. Not just some cool T-shirts from the Codename Iowa guys, but also an album, videos, figures, 6-inch and 3 3/4 inch scales, a physical album, a live show in San Diego, and I'm probably forgetting a bunch of other stuff. It's cool. It feels like there's this real synergy of like lots of different things happening in the world of G.I. Joe for Cold Slither.
I think the one thing that you didn't mention, because it's not Hasbro pushed, but that for the last 2 years at Assembly Required, this year at DFW, which we just passed, last year at Joe Fest, was Michael Charles Hill, the guy who wrote not only the episode, but the song itself. And then you can also find him at several bot cons or TF cons. So not only can you read this and all the things you just mentioned, but the man himself who wrote it and is out circuit talking to people, incredible guy to chat with.
Cool. Yeah, good shout out. Now this is on the screen at the moment is the first preview page of Cold Slither issue 1, and there's a delicious little Easter egg in there. Yes. It's Hector Ramirez, the news presenter that we kind of know and love from the Hasbro animated universe, appearing across a number of the different Hasbro cartoon properties, and he's alluding to that in a particular speech bubble. He says, from rock stars, Gem, to robotic man trucks, Transformers, to subterranean lava gods, Inhumanoids. You could say I've asked a lot more than 20 questions. So pointing to this guy, this mustachioed guy, being the sort of singularity that connects these different animated universes together. And yeah, it's coming to us from the writer Tim Seeley, who loves a deep cut. So it's interesting to see Tim Seeley's name on this property, as he's so synonymous with the Devil's Due era of G.I. Joe, and he wrote some very fun G.I. Joe Transformers crossovers, which really dug deep into a lot of the lore and obscure components, like some of those space aliens that exist in the G.I. Joe world, or battle beasts that are sort of slightly tangentially connected to the world of Transformers. So this one looks like it's going to be a lot of fun.
And it is just a one-shot.
It is described as a one-shot, yes. So I think it will be a one and done. We don't know. I don't think they've announced I might have missed it, but I don't think they announced the number of pages. So it might be that element might be a surprise. I probably do have it somewhere, but
well, we can hope for oversized.
Yeah, let's see. What's Slither? Where are Slither? I'll see if I can on the hoof try and find out if they do mention it in the press release. Oh, $3.99 is the price point. So this should be, following normal logic, it should be a 20 pager.
Right.
So what next up is on my slideshow? It is G.I. Joe issue 7, second printing. So we're at second printings now, all the way up to issue 7. I think basically everything in the Energon universe is a second printing, I think. All from Jason Howard with these sort of hero shots, G.I. Joe character and a Cobra character for both. So we've got a Jason Howard,
are amazing.
Beachhead, and a Jason Howard Major Blood. So it's nice that we get to see like just a cover sort of spotlighting each significant character really in this world as they're introduced. So and yeah, obviously issue number 7 had the introduction of Beachhead in Night Force into the G.I. Joe Energon universe continuity, and also a slightly updated look for Major Blood with this sort of glowing blue tube on his arm, and also the addition of the eye patch, given that he lost an eye to Baroness.
I am not an alternative cover chaser, but covers like this make me want to do that. I like a nice character
particularly the
shot like
set
this.
as well. It's like it's so satisfying that there's this
Yes.
grand sweep of the same artist doing a cover for absolutely every single issue, probably keeping him close to fully employed just doing these covers, given that we've got three books per month, plus if he's doing 2 for each, that's a fair quantity of covers.
Well, and the fact that we're 2 years in and we're still getting double prints or second printings, that's incredible.
It's they're doing very well. Now we also had a bit of a spoilery reveal. Shane is collecting them. That's great. So if you want to avoid any spoilers indicated by future covers, close your eyes for the next couple and ears for the next couple of minutes, because I will be sharing it on screen. Trade paperback cover number 3 for G.I. Joe, which looks like this. It's a chase scene with Duke in a Jeep, accompanied by Cobra Commander in a slightly redesigned outfit, holding Duke's trademark weapon, and being chased by sort of Mad Max style biker gang. One of them leaping in the air on a motorbike. And if you think, oh, that's a little bit Dreadnought-y, guess what? This trade paperback is called Dreadnought War, from Joshua Williamson. Artist Tom Riley returning to the series after taking an arc off, if that is a thing. So he did arc 1, issues 1 through to 6. Andrea Milana is returning to the book after doing Cobra Commander with 7 through to 12, and it looks like Tom Riley will return for the 3rd arc from issue 13. So it's great to see him coming back, and also Geordie Belair, who does such striking colours.
I'm such a fan of her color work. I am really surprised to see like a legitimate Jeep on here instead of something a little more fictionalized. That's, I mean, obviously a Jeep.
Yeah, or maybe it's a hound with a paint job.
Maybe it's hound with a paint job, or maybe they could say it is fictionalized because there's one too many vents at the windshield. I don't know, but that is very Jeep, which is surprising to me. But that's a cool cover, and it certainly begs a lot of questions.
We're seeing this a long way in advance as well, and it's sort of somewhat driven, I think, by the cadence of the book market and sort of the cycle of when books are announced for the next publishing cycle. That sometimes you'll see trade paperbacks being announced a long way in advance. But it's also pointing to the fact that these guys are really joined up and on it and organised. That we've just had issue 8. And they're already thinking about issues 13 through to 18. So I wonder exactly how far along Joshua Williamson is with his sort of planning, and also how far along Tom Riley is with his drawing. It's entirely possible at this stage that he might have just drawn this cover and nothing else, but we shall see. Let's see. I do have a bit of a blurb. The war between G.I. Joe and Cobra changes forever as the Dreadnoks return to do the unthinkable in the newest high-octane volume of G.I. Joe, the Dreadnought War. Unleashed, Duke and Cobra Commander are hunted by the deadly and unpredictable Dreadnoks. Their only chance of survival is to team up. It's all-out war in a savage landscape with unthinkable allies as G.I. Joe and Cobra are changed forever. Discover the newest high-octane volume of G.I. Joe from the chart-topping Energon universe team of Joshua Williamson, Tom Riley, and Geordie Belair, collecting G.I. Joe issue 13 through to 18. They sort of are not afraid to sort of lean into some sort of like comic book tropes and things like that, and just sort of be a bit tongue-in-cheek and have a lot of fun with it. I think that having your goodies and your baddies teaming up against another third faction is so comic booky.
If you don't do it, can you even call yourself a comic book anymore? Right? You have to.
Yeah, even if it looks like they're teaming up on the front cover, they might be doing something entirely different on the actual story itself. So we shall see. Right, in other comic book news, artist Andrea Milana continues to share stuff on his Instagram. So this is the cover to G.I. Joe issue number 8, as seen in colour without logo. And there it is, with no colours, because he sort of works basically digitally in black and white. So this is kind of how it looks to him as he sort of hands it over to his colorist. And we sort of asked, I asked on his Instagram what that red is meant to, sort of the orange in the background is meant to symbolize. Is it kind of a moon? Is it a sort of just an interesting horizon? Is it a nuclear bomb? And he basically said, it's just an interesting shape. So,
yeah, this is the kind of Baroness cover that I like to see.
mm-hmm.
I want to see Baroness at work.
Yeah, and it's tied into the events of the issue itself. Baroness in the crosshairs being hunted. This is exactly a perfect reason to have Baroness on the front cover and have her doing something interesting. Here's again sort of the black and white of some of the interiors, and an interesting comparison of just a published page there in color compared to how again it was drawn initially in black and white and grey tones, which not most artists do when they are drawing and inking, that they will sort of hand it across as just pure black and white. So interesting to see that Andrea Milana is making such use of the grey tones to kind of give a little bit of art direction to his colorist, who in this case is Lee Lowridge. And you've also got the Transformers in the background. And I did confirm with Andrea Milana that is essentially a cut and paste of the page from the pages of Transformers itself. That isn't a redraw. It is making a reuse. Another page. I had the published one as well. Sort of looks like a very quiet moment without the speech bubbles there. With the speech bubbles, it's a lot busier. And in this case, the sound effects are sometimes drawn in by Andrea Milana. In this case, the final art is without sound effects of the. I can't remember how they wrote it now, but it's this.
Well, this is the page where Hound says he likes to be in robot mode to talk, but without words, this page still works really well. You can follow it.
Mm-hmm. It's a much quieter moment.
Yeah.
Oops.
I really enjoy seeing uncolored art. As much as I do love the color, this is really nice.
Cool. And then in other G.I. Joe cover news, we have got G.I. Joe issue number 1 reprint from Mark Brooks. This is an exclusive foil cover edition featuring the Baroness. And I was baited here by Scotty Cameron, Baroness connection. I guess we probably can't not play the jingle, so let's go for it.
Why are there so many covers of Baroness?
So there we go. That's this is from Mark Brooks. It's a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, and it should be on sale from July 23rd at his booth, which is 4901 for those of you that are going. I think Diana might be going, and also I think Phil is going to be there as well. So there may be a few G.I. Joe community members representing at San Diego, and it will also be on his website apparently. And he did produce an exciting little video promoting his cover, so it would be rude not to share that. Oh, let's do that again.
got color in your cheeks? Do you ever get that feel that you can't shift, the type that sticks around like summits in your teeth? Are there some aces up your sleeve? Have you no idea that you're in deep? I dreamt about you nearly every night this week.
There we go. That's some nice production values there from Mark Brooks. Hats off to you, sir. Right. So that is again. We do tease about the Baroness covers, but this does look like a nice one, and Mark Brooks is a very talented artist for sure, and with that digital camo background and foil touches, it should be a nice cover. Any thoughts, Jason? Do you feel tempted by this one?
I do not. It's really good art, but we have this pose and hot Baroness thousands of times. I mean, enough that you made a song. So I'm much more interested in the other Baroness cover or something with her, really putting in work. Mm-hmm. We know she's a beautiful woman.
Very good. Okay, let's explore a little bit more of what's going on across the Energon universe with the debut of our new jingle. Well, see it for yourself.
All around the skybound world, are you looking for some G.I. Joe? There's Autobots and Decepticons and creatures from the sacred brain. All we need is Energon, sweet Energon. There'll be Energon everywhere. There'll be robots swinging, aliens killing, and Decepticons in the streets. Yeah!
Thanks to Tim for the inspiration and first pass on that one. It tends to be me who is the driving force for our obnoxious jingles, but yeah, I think Tim can share the blame for that one. I mean, credit for that one.
See, this is why I need you guys to redo the Order of Battle podcast music. I like ours, but it's a little older and it's not the two of you singing.
Yeah, I mean it's a signature, isn't it? It's sort of keeping the same music gives a nice little bit of consistency and a kind of an aural hug as the beginning of an episode. It's sort of like slipping back into a nice warm bath, I think. Yeah, I'm not too sure if my my grating generally fingers down the chalkboard approach to jingles quite fits with your kind of milieu, but thank you for the suggestion. So in the Energon universe at the moment, we've obviously got three main titles: Transformers, G.I. Joe, Void Rivals. In the pages of the most recent issue of G.I. Joe, they did hint that maybe there might be more to come. So I don't think we'll necessarily stick at 3 forever. There might be other things happening in parallel. So we shall see. But this is what we're on at the moment. We've had Transformers, Transformers issue 22 out 9th of July. Void Rivals 20 was out on June the 25th, with issue 21 to come on. I might have said that wrong. Void Rivals 20 was out on June the 25th, with issue 21 to follow on July the 23rd. And G.I. Joe issue number 9 is out this week, coming on sale July the 16th. So this is G.I. Joe issue number 9. This is a Baroness cover. She is doing something. They're in Paris. She's with no, not gonna sing. She's with CoverGirl. They've got sniper rifles. It's sort of drawing you in. What's going on here? It's an interesting visual. They're in a different place. Nice cover, I would say. This is the broad sweep of the covers that are available for us next week. I think the cover D might have been a redacted cover at one point. It is a character explosion background, but the twist here is that it is Hound. It is a transformer with an explosion background being revealed here. So that's a little bit unusual.
And then you have cover E to go back to your song.
Well, again, it's a nice piece of art. It is a little bit general, I guess, but I think the song would be more prompted by the retailer variant, to be honest, which is a slightly more of a pin-up, stick your butt out cover. This one coming from JAMIE TYNDALL, which is available as a Virgin variant and also a foil variant of the same pose, but at a shin-up, slightly cropped version of the same image. And you can find that at the 616 Comics or limitededition.uk. If you're in the UK, I think it might be a bit cheaper with the postage. So there we go. That is the Baroness and G.I. Joe issue number 9, as that exciting Baroness cover girl in Paris with Major Blood and Raptor story continues. In the world of Void Rivals, we've still got that sort of is largely off in its own corner, but we do have the Cobra La story continuing in that particular comic book. This most recent issue, we did only get essentially one page of G.I. Joe related stuff, which is this lone Royal Guard who is out on the Junkion planet with, is he called Rekgar? Something like that?
Rekgar, yes. Well, there was more than just the one page, because he woke up and tried to fight Skuxoid before Skuxoid
I think
was
that might have
taken away.
been
Or was
last
that an issue before? Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think that was so yeah, we're getting this continuing Cobra La in space storyline, and we'll touch on that, I think, again in a little bit. The biggest element of the G.I. Joes in the Energon universe outside of the pages of G.I. Joe is definitely in Transformers, and they seem to have somewhat taken over the pages of Transformers in issue 22. We've got some military guys on the front cover. They do have patches, a couple of them on their suits, but the patch in on the guy in the foreground in down on the ground looks to be a sort of a cross, like he's a medical guy rather than a G.I. Joe specific patch that we have seen on the interiors before. So those are all of the different variants. No G.I. Joes on the front variant front covers, but in the interior pages there is a G.I. Joe overload. Essentially, there's this big story about Ultra Magnus being captured by this mysterious additional G.I. Joe team led by Flag, and Doc is there, Carl Greer, and he takes pity on Ultra Magnus being tortured and helps in assisting his escape. And in this particular issue, he says that we get a bit of background, a bit of nuance to this. To it, he says, "I was where you were once, a captive, tortured," and he doesn't go with Ultra Magnus. He says, "I have people that need me; they keep me going. Don't you have anyone like that?" So, does he mean the people being the G.I. Joe team, or does it mean potentially a daughter? So that if that was the case, that might be Carla Greer, who is in certain continuities a sort of female Doc. but I've highlighted one page here, but really half of the comic is taken up by G.I. Joe goings on. Are you enjoying Transformers generally, Jason, and this issue specifically?
So I haven't read this issue specifically. I'm 1 week behind. So I usually hit the shop on Mondays. So I won't catch this one until a couple days from now. But Transformers specifically as an ongoing thing is rough, because every issue I'm laughing, and then at the end of the book I'm heartbroken, and it's every issue. So I'm enjoying that seesaw a lot. So I'm looking forward to reading this one and seeing how we get to this page and beyond. And then I'll be a week behind for the G.I. Joe.
Just sorry to give you any spoilers, but we just did give one page, so
it's not a spoiler. I mean, I know what happened in the issue before, and we can figure that out.
Yeah, I think even going back 2 issues, seeing the scenario, it's the kind of events that you can somewhat preempt.
And if you remember at all Doc's file card with him being a pacifist and everything else, it doesn't really surprise me. It more surprised me that Flag felt like a juggler than it did that Doc has rescued
Ultra Magnus.
Wow. Pull my card.
Right.
And it looks like there's Carly. So
yes, yeah, they were captured together in that particular scene. Big piece of Energon Universe news that dropped on the 24th of June was this bleeding cool article. Gossip: Robert Kirkman has sold a Transformers and G.I. Joe cartoon series. The gossip is that Robert Kirkman and Skybound have sold a Transformers, G.I. Joe, Void Rivals, Energon Universe animated streaming series. So bringing the Energon Universe to a cartoon, essentially. And I guess building on the success that Kirkman and Skybound have had with the Invincible cartoon. So I think people seeing the success of that they've had with their cartoon output, and also seeing the success that they've had with their comics, it does seem like an obvious thing to do with the brand, but exciting to hear the news that it may be actually happening. Thoughts, Jason?
I'm kind of twofold on this one. One, I'm extraordinarily excited and happy, and if it parallels the Energon universe, it's going to be fantastic. On the negative side, I hope that whatever they do, is an entrance for kids and people that are not those of us in our late 30s through late 50s, and something that continues to bring the same new audience that evidently these comics are, if they're second printing 2 years later. But so whether it's one series or multiple series, I really hope that some level of it is accessible to the younger audiences, the people behind us that we want to carry the torch once we're walking. Since we've
they seem to do that quite well with Invincible. I don't know if you've watched it, but it seems to sort of
a very adult cartoon, though. I wouldn't show Invincible to an 8-year-old.
No.
Maybe I would show it to A at 14, but that's definitely not available or accessible to children. It's amazing.
I mean, it's a little bit sweary and very violent, but it straddled that bit of sort of being, for the older comic reader, but also for skewing younger, in terms of having a cartoon that's cool, that they would also want to seek out. So sort of not just being like a single market. So I could imagine a similar approach, less swearing, slightly less violence, and sort of being, maybe not for the 8-year-olds, but for the sort of younger teens upwards, being quite accessible.
Clearly the Energon universe has no problem with a bit of the old ultra violence. So I'm sure a cartoon is going to be just as brutal. But we'll see.
Indeed. Then another bit of news. It was interesting to see Joshua Williamson on the Yojo Hasbro month, Yojo June, being interviewed by Lenny Panzica. It's sort of those streams are often so toy focused that it was nice that they just took out a week to have a bit of a deep dive conversation about specifically the comics and sort of have a bit of focus then on the comics. I think I made some notes of somewhere in my book of some of the things that were touched on.
It was a fun conversation, and I would like to see more of that, especially if a cartoon is real and not just rumor. Because if you go back to all of us, how many of us were comics over cartoon over comics, never saw either. Having Hasbro promote more than just the toys, I think is a beautiful thing for our community and our fandom.
Dude. So some of the highlights or interesting elements of that interview for me, from Joshua Williamson. So he was inspired to use Raptor from the toy reveal. So it's like you saw the toy and it's like, that's cool, I want to put that in. So it's just nice to see that kind of excitement, pushing energy into what's going on with the comic, and having that desire to kind of try and integrate the two a little bit. In Lenny's recent interview with the Full Force, he sort of said that he didn't see Energon universe and the classified universe as being the same thing per se, but there's like potential for crossovers in terms of one feeding the other. And he saw classified as being a bit more like Marvel Legends, in that you could incorporate multiple different takes on a character from different kind of continuities, etc. And he also seemed very excited about the possibility of having some of those Energon universe takes as toys. So he specifically called out Mercer. They've done one version of Mercer. How do you reconcile that with the comic version? They're basically different characters, and that maybe that different, bigger Mercer might come at some point. He also singled out Chameleon as being a very interesting looking character as well, and sort of one that would translate well to a toy.
Yeah, I do not hate any of that. Right? If we have classified and we have retro, and I would genuinely love to see a larger gap between those two lines, and then bring in an Energon line, I'd be happy all day long. None of that disappoints me at all.
Yeah, that'd be so cool. Just, classified, stick on a little Energon universe logo in the corner. That'd be a nice subline. What else did he talk about? So Joshua Williamson talked about the starting place for him always being the file card. So for Major Blood, going back to the file card, I think it's the tabula rasa of that's the starting point, and it makes a lot of sense that's where you go back to.
That was always for me my starting point too. The dossiers were always why I wanted to write, why I wanted to tell stories. They were just a nice bite. I know some of the early ones are thin, and in classified we need more of them. Bring that back.
Yeah, I think it's the missing bit. It's like the story, it's that link, it's that sort of building out some of those characters, particularly the new ones that haven't been previously established, and a bit more of a blank slate. So he talked about having a massive plan. He talked about Night Force as this sort of mysterious sub-team. The mystery, what is Night Force for? What is Hawk building them for? And calling out that they'll check in every few issues to build up a sense of what they're all about and what they're after. So interesting dynamic, this extra Joe team. he talked about Destro and Cobra Commander of having this antagonistic relationship. Cobra Commander only giving just enough to manipulate Destro, and their relationship will build to G.I. Joe issue 13. So some additional tension. There's tension every time you see the two of them together, to be honest. And he talked about Baroness, that introducing her parents helped humanize her. And he said, yeah, he's got a long story planned for her. You know, I think people are on tenterhooks waiting for that heel turn from Baroness. That at what point will she actually leave the Joes and join Cobra and Destro?
So am I alone in thinking that the parents thing was a red herring? And I thought it was really just a distraction.
I thought it's a strong possibility she was entirely lying and making up that fact, but
I thought it was about 102% possibility. But so it's one of those things of, if that's real, then good on him for that wild swing, because all of us are going to see that as a bluff, as an okey doke.
Yeah. Sometimes, because you get so many bluffs or turns in comics, sometimes just playing it straight down the line is the more unexpected thing to do. Oh, they were telling the truth. Okay, right. Wasn't expecting that. Scotty Cameron also calls out, I hope to get a Void Rivals line akin to Classified. We're getting two figures in 3 3/4 inch, as I think it's a San Diego exclusive.
I think so.
With Jetfire, but yeah, will we see it in a line similar to Classified, part of Classified? I mean, certainly if the cartoon rumor ends up being true, they're going to want to exploit that. So they're going to go big with Void Rivals, aren't they?
Yeah. And if they do that, now I just want to see a customizer do the weird split Skuxoid regeneration panel.
Yeah. Speaking of, well, we'll get into that. In fact, we got so he said, talked about San Diego, that there's going to be some announcements, and he's got big plans for the fall. So what we would call autumn. And we've got, just in the last couple of days, they have released details of some San Diego panels. So there will be a Hasbro panel, sort of with the normal cadence of, showing off some stuff. I think they'll have the physical test models, whatever you would call them, of the snow cats. They'll be doing some name reveals, render reveals, and there'll be an order on the back of that, and as well as that, we know that they'll be having the Cold Slither set as an exclusive as well, but. In addition to the Hasbro panels, there will be an Energon Universe panel happening on the Saturday at 4:30 Pacific time. So that will be bedtime, my time zone. What will that panel? What are they promising? Transformers and G.I. Joe all-out war in the Energon universe. The biggest year for the Energon universe is here. Transformers, G.I. Joe, and Void Rivals from Skybound continue to top charts, and we aren't letting up. Superstars Robert Kirkman, Daniel Warren Johnson, Joshua Williamson, and Sean Makowitz, Senior Vice President, Publisher, Skybound, reveal their plans for the Quintesson War. So that's the big event they've been leading up to in Void Rivals, the Dreadnought War that we just saw an image for earlier, and more in a panel that will have everyone on the edge of their seats, moderated by Arun Singh, VP Brand Skybound. And if precedent is anything to go by, it is a very good thing to go and look at these panels in person, because frequently at the Skybound panels, if you are sat down in one of those seats, you will be getting a nice freebie. So some sort of Ashcan edition comic or something. So definitely worth the punt on that. There will also be Robert Kirkman live at SDCC on the Thursday. The biggest Robert Kirkman panel in Robert Kirkman history. Want to learn more about everything Invincible, including the new fighting game Invincible Versus and the Battle Beast comic series, and The Walking Dead. Excited about his plans for Transformers and Void Rivals via Skybound and Hasbro's Energon universe? Then don't miss this panel, which includes world premiere announcements and exclusive giveaway surprises. Yes, plural, for every attendee. So, yeah, are you looking forward to hearing some of these Skybound, G.I. Joe, broadly
Absolutely.
events coming out of SDCC?
Yeah, I am. And it begs the question, have you and Tim ever considered trying to make an SDCC Talking Joe's appearance?
That seems ambitious.
It does seem ambitious. Joel and I have never spoken about it because it seems well out of scope for my pocket, but it would be neat.
It would indeed be very cool. And I was talking about Robert Kirkman at SDCC, and that made me realize that I'd forgotten to actually call out a particularly important bit of news in the Energon universe, which is the change of writer for Transformers. So Daniel Warren Johnson, who is writing through to issue 25, his last issue will be issue 24, and there's a new creative team on it. But it's not just any old creative team. It is Robert Kirkman of Void Rivals, Invincible, Walking Dead fame, who will be the writer, and it's obviously very close to the Skybound universe and what's going on there. And artist Dan Mora will be taking on the art chores as well. So there's going to be a big launch for issue 25 of Transformers, or kind of soft relaunch, let's say.
Yeah, that art is interesting, and I mean, it's Kirkman. He's going to do a good job. But man, have I really enjoyed Daniel Warren Johnson lately. His run so far has been incredible. I hate to see him go.
Yeah, indeed. He's been a very distinctive creative voice on the series, so it will be a bit of a shame to see him go. But if he's going, then I think Robert Kirkman is not a bad replacement.
He'll do. Yeah,
he'll do. Yeah, it's not like they're going. It's not like they're sort of having to reach too far down into the C-listers to find someone on this one. And Dan Mora is a really popular artist and has got a big fan base. And for those people, I mean, it's sort of. It's kind of going to be a soft launch, I think, for relaunch for Transformers as well, because some people have been less enthused about the art style of Transformers in terms of it being that slightly scratchier, kinetic, fluid style, and Dan Mora is a little bit more let's say just like a more detailed, refined kind of approach. So it's a different look. So
it is.
The Corona, who did the second half of this, is much more in the Daniel Warren Johnson sort of family of art. It's sort of very sympathetic kind of art style. Yeah. This doesn't look in that same style. It's a lot crisper. Not necessarily better or worse, but some people have definitely got their own preferences.
I enjoy that scratchier, sort of a little more chaotic, especially for this book because it's been so brutal. But also Mora is incredible, and it definitely gives it a little more of that classic feel. But just from these 2 pages, it's going to be gorgeous. So not better or worse, just different. And I think in the same quality, if you like both styles. I mean, I guess if you don't like one of these styles, then it sucks, but I like both.
Yeah, and it's funny that Kirkman, his oeuvre has got a lot of that element of there being an amazing artist who's created such a distinctive look to a book, and then being replaced by another artist who just completely makes it their own. So
Yeah.
Walking Dead, they had, I think it's Tony Moore initially, and he's got that sort of detailed, more noodly, sort of scratchy kind of style. And then Charlie Adlard came on and did that enormous run and completely made it his own. And also with Invincible, you had Corey Walker, who was amazing and sort of very more sparse, sort of designed kind of look, and then Ryan Otley coming in with sort of a real, kinetic, over the top energy, and again, sort of very much making the book his own and having a sort of really long stretch on it. So, interesting that Kirkman has, pulled off quite a few times now, sort of a switch in artist, and it, really being no detriment to the book overall.
Right. I mean, that's the joy of comics versus other visual media. A TV show has to kind of keep the same look, the movies, the cartoons, but comics, you can change that with the arc. And I think that's one of the most fun things about comics is you're constantly being exposed to a different style. And maybe this one's not your favorite, but a few issues in, you start to fall in love with it. And then the next style is rinse and repeat. I'm very captivated by those pages. Thank you.
Get rid of those, otherwise you'll still be transfixed. And
yes, a little drool, and then I'm gone.
All right, and we've got Scotty Cameron calling out a couple of others as well. Tech Jacket transitioning from EJ Sue to Kerry Randolph. Britt went from Tony Moore to Cliff Rathburn. And Void Rivals has also just recently had a change in art team as well. And I was impressed by how seamless that has felt. The new artist seems to be doing pretty well. I thought that was going to be a bit more of a struggle than it has actually been. So, yeah.
I've really enjoyed Void Rivals. The general irreverence of the story while also doing this deep sort of ideological thing is a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's doing a lot of different things, isn't it? It's sort of creating this world, this universe, this grand adventure. It's all with the sort of the battle between the two parts of that world, and then they're just having this wildly irreverent bits with Skuxoid, and also just sort of opening it up into a much wider world with Transformers and also now increasingly G.I. Joe as well. So that book is doing a lot, and it's a lot of fun. So I think I have covered most of the main points that I wanted to cover for our comic news, and we are almost an hour in. So as predicted, if I wasn't doing this now with you, then next time I spoke to Tim about the Energon universe, we would be looking at down the barrel of a 3-hour Talking Joe episode. So
I mean, that's not bad for when I'm driving around and I need to have the two of you guys coming through my speakers.
Thank you.
I'm actively listening to episode 322, where you guys talk about A-Raw 318. So I'm about halfway through that episode. So I appreciate every time you guys come on.
Thank you so much. The last thing I just wanted to mention was a friend of the show, Diana Davis, has had a bit of a medical emergency with her poor doggy Splash, who is still, I think, in the vets as we speak. So she has got a fundraiser on Just Giving to raise some funds to cover those unexpected emergency vet costs. And as we know, emergency treatments in the States or anywhere can be very expensive. And even if even if you've been trying to preempt something like that, it's tough. So I believe in the show notes for this on YouTube, I've put in the link So if you do want to help out Diana with covering some of those unexpected vet costs, that would be greatly appreciated.
And if you're a good person, a fur family is still family. So we got to take care of them.
Yeah. I got any down here? No. I was just looking to see if I had any of my furry lot to grab and pull into the frame, but no, they're off somewhere like that.
Mine are shut out of the room as well.
Very good. So, Jason, as we're sort of wrapping up, do you want to remind people what's going on with you? Where can they find the Order of Battle if they've never heard of Google before? And what have you been doing up to lately? What can people expect in the future?
So Order of Battle is an audio-only podcast, so you can find it on any of the podcast aggregators. You can also just go to Spotify or Apple. We're hosted on Audio Boom, but it's just Order of Battle podcast. Joel, Alexander, and I will be in Shepherdsville, Kentucky this coming up weekend. What is that, the 17th, 18th, for Kentuckiana G.I. Joe show, which you can look up at KY G.I. Joe show or KY Joe show. It's a great show. It's a Friday night preview all day Saturday. Great amount of vendors and a lovely time. So, and then, the summer is fleeting. So I guess the weekend after that, we'll all be tuning into San Diego Comic-Con. And then here in the southern half of the United States, school starts at the beginning of August. So there's not a lot going on for us, but there's a ton of stuff going on for us.
So Infinite Entertainment asks, what is Order of Battle about?
Sure.
It's about a lot of things, mostly toys.
Yeah. Order of Battle was the 1987 Marvel title where they just basically put the file cards or the dossiers into comic form. But yes.
But your show is not that. It is not. It's not a deep dive into dossiers. It's something else.
But Joel is a 4-inch collector. I'm an O-ring guy. Alexander was a tiny child when we started, and now he's a teenager. We talk about mostly G.I. Joe, but we talk about all sorts of toys, comics, cartoons, whatever we're really into. A lot of times I'm talking about trying to convince people to go to shows and be part of the physical community as much as they can around the country or around the world. Often I'm trying to help promote our friends like Brian and Patty or Carson or Chris with Grindstone or Grindhouse, whomever has a cool project coming up. It is really just me casually loving things and wanting to tell all of you about it. That is pretty much the whole structure too. Like, you guys are very structured, you and Tim. I'm a little jealous of it, but I do not know that I have it in me.
You do your own thing and you do that very well. And yeah, so I think, Talking Joe, we have, quite a clear purpose in terms of we are talking about the comic books, and that is the lane that we sort of stick to and focus in on. And I think, Jason, where you sort of, your home and where you spend a lot of time is talking about like conventions and your experience of being to a convention, and people, talking to the people that you've been to a particular convention and finding out what they thought of it. And talking to other people in the community, as you say, like to Carson about the 3D Joe's book, or to Paddy Lennon and Brian Hickey about their latest Talking Toys book, or you're just sort of hanging out and talking to people across the community, finding out about their journey in G.I. Joe, and it's always just a great conversation. And Jason, you've sort of, I've always talked about sort of like it's like a kind of a yoga sound bath or something that is super relaxing, listening to a Talking Joe, listening to an Order of Battle episode, and it's also always immaculately edited as well. So you don't have, while it's conversational, you don't have like the sort of, it's not just a hangout. It's focused, and you're getting rid of all of the
right
dead weight of a conversation that is less focused. So it's sort of, it feels like you're respecting our time by giving us something that's curated and worth listening to.
Yeah, that is the hope. It is meandering and fun. Our last episode was, I think, a 4-hour record with your Irish friend Stephen Kelly, and we edited it down to 2:47. So when you talk about editing and trying to cut out some of the fluff so that it's interesting throughout. And then the episode before that was with Robert Rust, which was a great conversation. And he has a great eye for design with his collection. You and I have tried to record, and I messed that up with some power issues. So I hope we get back to that. I want to have Chris Scott from Grindhouse on, because his World War Hell Kickstarter ends in like 33 hours.
Wow.
And I just want to sit down with him and have a couple beers and just let him be excited about this monumental achievement. And then, of course, there's everyone else in our community. And hopefully, every time I talk to Joel lately, he's been in a basement where his phone doesn't work, or he's getting home after all of you guys in the UK and in Ireland are in bed. So I can't exactly do 4 hours with Stephen Kelly and Joel, because Joel's in a basement and Stephen's asleep by the time Joel gets home. So there is a bit of juggling when it comes to that. But as long as we're having fun conversations and hanging out with people that are really just enthusiastic about our hobby and our community, then I think I'm on the path that I'm supposed to be on.
Very good. I always do look forward to the next episode dropping when I see it appear in my feed.
The goal is fortnightly, so every 2 weeks, and I've been bad at that this year, but we're getting back on track. We're getting there.
Well, when it's less predictable as well, it's like a nice little surprise. It's like, ooh, it's a new one.
I would enjoy being weekly or more like you guys, but it's a lot more work, especially with as slow as I edit.
That's right. So Rachel, or possibly is it Carlos, asks, tuning in mainly for the Joe content, but has Void Rivals dipped into the Lunatrix Empire or the Manimals? And I think the answer is not yet. I would be surprised if we don't get there eventually, but as of today, we have not seen hide nor hair of those elements of the G.I. Joe extended universe.
I'm interested in how they would do that Lunatrix Empire thing when the 3 characters we got from it were all sort of bounty hunters. So not really a governmental or a civilization species, but 3 separate species all in that bounty hunter sort of mercenary. So I'm curious how they would interpret that and build a much larger world. And when they get there, I'm going to be excited. And I don't have a lot of concerns with not enjoying what they do.
Very good. So we've talked about where to find Order of Battle. You can find more about Talking Joe, if you are less familiar with us, at talkingjoe.co.uk. That's the website. That's the website that points to all of the places we can be found: Facebook, Twitter, etc., etc. And it also points to our Patreon. So a big thanks to Richard, Sam, Bill, Christopher, Justin, Rob, Shane, Simon, Chris, Joe, Craig, Frank, D, Mike D, Shane V2. This version has a digital explosion background. Infinite Entertainment, Patrick, and Gary V. So we will be back, or I will be back with Tim this time-ish. No, ish. Well, next week, I think. Maybe yeah, Saturday evening UK time, to talk about G.I. Joe issue number 9, which will be in comic shops this coming Wednesday, as at time of recording. So please do join us for then. And Jason, how do you feel about being able to sing us out as I ask you to help me remind people that...
I don't know about this one. All right, let's try it. Nobody Beats Talking Joe, an international podcast.
It's different,
I'm
but
not
I like
Tim.
it.
Oh.
Laters. Thanks, Jason.